go for the special one, which is Greetings, my peoples, and welcome to this episode of Final Douche ASMR. If you're into vinyl, if you're into ASMR, come to the right place. Click and subscribe. Like if you like. This week, we are covering Home by the Ting Tings. This one came out in June 6th, 2005. So, it's been out for about a year and some change from when we're doing this recording. This is their 5th studio album, and the Ting Tings formed in 2007 in Greater Manchester, out in England, and their first album was in 2008, and that was called We Started Nothing, and that's probably their most popular. That's the one with Know My Name, That's Not My Name, actually, which was, it's a big song in the indie pop scene that was, around during that time, in the early 2000s, 2010s. They were a big part of that, and I actually saw them live. I believe it was at the Gramercy Theater. I think it was like the winter of 2008. Saw them with the Duke Spirit and Mike Doty, and yeah, the Ting Tings. They were one of the headliners. It's a great show, but I must say that album and that sound is a bit different than Home. So Home in particular is definitely heavily influenced from like the soft rock sound of the 1970s. As soon as I heard it, I heard like Fleetwood Mac, in the sound. It's very stripped down, doesn't have, a lot of like electronic influence to it, but it's still a bop. It's not a completely, it's not a folk album, but it's different. It's different from, if you know the Ting Tings. And actually the last album I had of theirs was The Black Light, which I think was either 2017 or 2018. And that's when I kind of like, because That's Not My Name was cool, but I didn't even listen to that first album. For some reason, The Black Light caught my eye. This was already in the Spotify era, and immediately once I listened to the album, I'm like, oh man, this is like a lot darker, and just different from That's Not My Name. So I'm like, oh okay, this they evolve. Alright, that siren should be leaving us in a second. So, whatever. Wikipedia doesn't get everything right all the time, but yes, it looks like from their official website, We Started Nothing came out in 2007. So clearly, it probably formed earlier than that. And I like I said, I didn't listen to We Started Nothing. Second album was Sounds from Nowheresville in 2012. Third album is Super Critical, and then I jumped on with The Black Light in 2018. There's also the Black Light MV album, which I guess Manchester version. I never heard that one. But I guess it might be remixes or just different versions of songs that are on the Black Light. Um, this album was recorded in basically their own sort of studios. It was released on Wonderful Records, which was their own label. It's been well received. We are in the streaming era, so I don't know how well it did as far as streams are concerned, but critically, it's been praised, and people really like this turn, and it's definitely a salute to softer sound. I mean, even the album cover is a sort of, it's reminiscent of something you would see on a Chicago album, or something even. But yeah, as I mentioned, it's definitely a throwback to sort of the softer sounds of the 70s. And I personally just love the album. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, all right, this is the kind of modern music that belongs in my record collection. Especially their approach, it's stripped down. I think the word is that they spent like 3 years putting this one together. A lockdown in Ibiza, so I think that's so I think that's definitely more of a self-imposed lockdown versus the COVID lockdown, because this dropped in 2005, 3 years, 2022. Lockdowns are kind of done by that point. But yeah, they maybe this is all speculation, but they just removed themselves from a lot of people and just got together and made this album together. I definitely, if you're looking for something new, but sort of has a feel of something old, this is definitely the album for you. Alright, let's open it up. And get rid of the sticker. It's the black LP. I didn't really go for the special one, which is I think the green one they have out. So I'll get rid of the sticker there. So we got liner notes, and Ting Tings are actually, they consist of two people, and that's Katie White. She sings most of the songs, and it looks like she also adds some guitars and bass drums, and she plays bass guitars and cowbells. And Jules DeMartino is her partner. He's on drums, lead guitar, bass, keyboards, and vocals as well. So, let's see here. So this album's recorded over a 3-year period in our own self-built studios. We move around quite a lot and build studios wherever we land. We focus on instruments, harmonies, lyrics, and freedom. as independent artists to create this easy, breezy, effortless journey in music and life. That's nice. We thank our fans and music lovers for keeping the candle lit. That's really nice. And they look like a couple. I didn't know if they were. Sort of like the Kills. I don't think they're a couple, but they're a sort of two-person group. But this looks pretty couple-ish. So all the songs written by DiMartino and Waite, and they also was produced by DiMartino and mastered by Jeff Pesh at Abbey Road Studios. So I guess besides their own studios, they did some stuff at Abbey Road. Alright, so instruments, vocals, DiMartino and Waite. You got some solo guitars on certain tracks by Joe Webb, and some other, you got solo guitar on track 4 by Oscar Diaz. You got sax solo on track 3 by Richard Party, and additional harmony arranged by Johnny Sparling. Original carving and cover art by Ricky Himmerson. Gibson Custom Shop. Oh wow, so I guess it's an actual piece of wood that's photographed. Wow. Kinda cool. The concept and design was by Benjamin Barber and Juan Sanchez Punzano took the picture, the cover. He's the only photographer credited, so he might have been responsible for this picture too. This is one of the most modern albums I've done on this channel. I think this and the Bad Bunny Debí Tirar Más Fotos. I think that's sort of the newest albums I've done on this channel. And Mother Feather too. I think it was 2023. Alright, let's look at the album. Look at the tracks. There's that Wonderful Records. That's their label. Alright, this is side 2. Alright. So we start with Good People Do Bad Things. Fantastic song. It definitely feels so much like a Fleetwood Mac song. Which is, I don't think it's a bad thing with this. It's not like they're like saying it's not like they're completely stealing, they clearly heavily influenced from the sound of that era. And this kind of music, I naturally think about like Fleetwood Mac, and I'm pretty sure I'm blanking on others, but it's definitely that kind of sound. Number 2 is Dreaming. Number 3 is the title track, Home. Number 4 is the Goodbye Song. And number 5 is Winning. It's not a great song. When this album got released, it was like little LPs here and there on Spotify. And then they finally dropped it as a whole. And yeah, I remember it, I want to say, they started releasing this thing maybe back in winter of 2025. At least the earlier part of the winter, which is, front of the year. And yeah, I think that's how it went. Yeah, it was definitely like, winter into spring, and then they released the whole thing in June. Alright, side 2 is In My Head. And so song number 7 is Song for Meadow. 8 is Mind Thunder. Number 9 is Danced on the Wire. And number 10 is Down. That's the last song, yo. Alright, so if you're wondering what the Ting Tings been up to, and you're looking for something sort of easy to chill out to, maybe smoke a blunt, make love to your partner with, I suggest Ting Tings Home 2025. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next week.